everybody, welcome back to part 2 of today's mystery square, our crochet along mystery tour. Now, what I forgot to say at the end of part 1 was that you will need to sew your ends in before we continue. So just grab your needle and sew these ends in before we go any further, because you won't be able to get certainly to this petal colour. You won't be able to get to that to do your ends very easily once we've done the background. So sew your ends in and then we will get going with our background colour. Okay, now as I said, once you've sewn all these in, we're going to be working with our background colour. So this is the colour we did in the centre, because it all becomes one eventually. So what you want to do is do a slip knot onto your hook, and then have your work with the wrong side facing up. Okay, so the wrong side, you've got all your petals on this other side, and then choose one of your double crochets, and you're going to do a back post single crochet. Basically, we're just going to join our yarn onto this double crochet. So pop your hook with the loop underneath, and then bring this yarn over and through. And then what I like to do when these two loops are on the hook, I bring this tail over my working yarn. I think I showed you this earlier actually. It seems so long ago now. And then I just like to finish that single crochet. Okay, so we're doing that around that back post. So you're not really doing it into anything, you're just doing it around that post. Okay, a single crochet, and then you're going to chain 2. Okay, so we're still working on this back. Chain 2, and then you're going to do another back post single crochet. It can be a bit fiddly to start with, working like this, and then you're going to go to your next double crochet and do this. Keep that tail out of the way. You're going to do another single crochet around this double crochet. So single crochet, chain 2, oops. 2 chains, and then another single crochet around this double crochet, chain 2, single crochet around the next one, and you're going to work this all the way around until you've got 7 single crochets and 7 sets of chain 2. So work that all the way around, and I will meet you back at the start. Okay, so, oh, where's the light gone? It's gone all funny. There we go, it's back. Autofocus, such a weird thing. So when you've done your 8 single crochets and your 8 lots of chain 2, you need to then join this last chain to your first single crochet. So find your first single crochet and do a slip stitch into there, and that will be the end of your first round. We're calling this the first round now, okay, because we're back onto this colour, so this is the end of the first round. You have this funny little sort of chain thing going on. Okay, so round 2. So for round 2, you want to do a slip stitch over into this first chain space. Okay, and then you want to do a chain 3, which will count as your first double crochet, and then you want to do another double crochet into this chain space, and then you're going to do a chain 1, and then you're going to repeat this all the way around. In the chain space, you're going to do 2 double crochet. You're not working into the stitches, you're just doing 2 double crochet into the chain space and then a chain 1. So work that all the way around, 2 double crochets into the chain space and a chain 1. And when you get back round to the beginning, do a slip stitch into your top chain of 3. And I'll meet you back round there. Okay, so you should now have 16 double crochets and 8 chain 1 spaces. Now we're kind of holding it back as we go around like this. It's kind of making a bit of a cup shape, but it will actually flatten out and then it will become the background for our right side. So it might seem a bit strange at the moment, but that's kind of how it needs to be. Okay, so round 3, we need to increase this circle. It is a circle, even though it looks a bit like a cup shape. So we're going to do chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. We're doing all double crochet in this round. And in your second stitch, you need to do 2 double crochet. And then you need to do 1 in the chain space and 1 in the next stitch, and then you're going to follow this pattern all the way around. You're going to do 2 double crochet in 1 stitch, so it's 2 and then 1 in the chain space and 1 in the next double crochet. So all the way around you're going to do 2 1 1 2 1 1 all the way around, and when you finish you should have 32 double crochet at the end of this round. 32 double crochet. So 2 1 1 2 1 1. Okay, and I'll meet you back at the beginning or end. Okay, so when you come back around to this near to the beginning, you are only going to be doing 1 double crochet because you've already did your 1 here. So you're going to do 2 1 and then join with a slip stitch to your top chain, and that will be 32 double crochets in your circle. So you can see this is the back of your circle and it will be starting to show through on the right side. There we go. So round 4, now we need to continue increasing our circle. I know it's a bit weird, we're doing a circle, but it's going to be a square eventually. So we are going to chain 1 and then we're going to do a single crochet in that same stitch, and then in the next stitch we are going to do 2 single crochets. So this is a single crochet round, so 2 single crochets in that next stitch, and then you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next, and you are going to follow this all the way around. You're going to do so you're going to repeat this around. You're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then 1 in the next, 2 and then 1, 2 in 1 stitch and 1 in the next, and that's as simple as it is. You're going to follow that all the way around, and I will meet you back around to the beginning. You should have 48 single crochets at the end of this round. 48. Okay, when you've done your 48 single crochets, you are going to slip stitch into your first single crochet, and that's 48 single crochets. So round 5. Now round 5 is where we are going to be joining our picot stitches to our background. So these picots, where we did the chain 5 and slip stitch, we are going to be joining into these with our background. So this is how we are going to do it. We are going to chain 1, and then we are going to take our picot, so pick up your picot from here, bring it up, and then you're going to do a single crochet Okay, sorry about that funny kind of pause from me there. I was getting a little bit confused. So you've got your you've done your chain, and then what you want to do is go into your picot. So go through from the front, so you're going to sort of turn it slightly and go in from the front, from the right side, and then you're going to go back into this stitch where you did your chain, so exactly in the same spot where you did your chain, and then you are going to do a single crochet through your background stitch and through the picot. Okay, so that picot is now joined with a single crochet into the same stitch space where our chain came from. And it's quite as simple as that, really. So then you need to do a single crochet in the next 5 single crochets. So you're going to do 5 single crochets. We're not increasing in this round. We're just going to be having 48 left at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to pick up your next picot. So pick it up and turn it slightly so you can go through from the front, and then into your next stitch along, pop your hook, and then bring your yarn through and through the picot and do your single crochet. And it really is that simple. So work around, do 5 more single crochets, and then grab your picot and join that through, and then 5 more single crochets, join your next picot, and you will then have your petals joined, well, your picots joined to your background. So 5 single crochets, join your picot for the 6th stitch. 5 picot, 5 picot, and I'll join you back around the beginning. Okay, when you've joined all your picots around, it will look something like this. It's a bit weird, like some weird plant. Go into your initial single crochet and do a slip stitch, and that's the end of round 5. So you should have 48 single crochets still, 48 single crochets including your 8 picot joins. So round 6 we are going to chain 3, which will count as your first double crochet as always. Sort some yarn out here. So chain 3 for your first double crochet, and you're going to do a double crochet in that same stitch. So you've effectively got 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then you are going to do 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. So you're going to do 1 and then another, so 2 single crochets along, so 2 in 1, then 1 and 1, and then you're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet, and you're going to follow this all the way around. 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, so 2 1 1 2 1 1 all the way around, and at the end of this round you should have 64 double crochet. 2 1 1 2 1 1. I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, and when you've finished your 64 double crochets, you've probably already guessed it, you're going to slip stitch into your top chain of your chain 3. And now it's time to start joining in our petals. So okay, now unfortunately my pale blue was running out, so I've just changed to a different blue, and I've joined that in with a single crochet. So what you need to do where you left off is you need to do a chain 1 and you need to then do a single crochet. So chain 1 and a single crochet, and then in the next stitch you want to do a single crochet, so you've now got two single crochets, and then we're going to start joining our petals. So what you want to do, a bit like when we did the picot, you want to we're going to be joining into this part here where we've got our slip stitches that join our two petals. So pop your hook from the back through. It's a bit tricky to show, so through from the back and then over and through that space. You're going between your two slip stitches, okay, and then you are going to go into your next stitch. Just double check which stitch I'm going into. So go into your next stitch, and then you're going to do a single crochet around this slip stitch of your petal, okay, not a slip stitch, sorry, a single crochet around there. So you can see now my blue is over the top of that yellow, which is just joining those two together with a single crochet. We're doing all single crochets in this round, so I'll show you that again. So you want to do 7 single crochets now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then again bring your petal up, put your hook through from the back over into the middle, so you're going through here and then over between those two slip stitches, and then you're going to, it's a bit of a tricky one, but then you are going to go into your next stitch here, bring your yarn through, bring it through that slip stitch there and do your single crochet, and you've joined that slip stitch there, your petal, joined it all in. Okay, so continue that around. If you need to follow that again, just rewind a minute or so and watch that join back again. Otherwise, follow this around, oops, my yarn, follow it around, do 7 single crochets and then join your next petal. Okay, 7 single crochets, join your petal all the way around, and at the end of this you should have again 64 single crochets, because we're not increasing, these are forming your normal single crochet. So 64 single crochets, and I'll see you back around at the beginning. Okay, so when you've done your 64 single crochets, joining in all 8 petal joins, you are going to slip stitch in your first single crochet, and then you're going to slip stitch, and then you're going to fasten this off, because we are going to do some more background. I know this seems a bit weird. This is a very strange pattern in many senses, that it's a bit like, what are we doing next? So fasten that off there, and then we're going to rejoin our background colour in a different place. Okay, so we are doing the background. We are on to round 8, and we are going to join our the same colour that we've been using, or you could change colour if you fancy, it just would be different to what you've got in the centre here. So what you need to do is look at where you've got your petal joins. Now look at your top join, and you're going to skip a stitch, and then you're going to join this in the next one. Now we're going to be working in back loop only. If you prefer to work through both loops, that's absolutely fine. Just be aware it will be going through the edges of your petal. So skip a stitch from this this join here. So you either look at your stitches and skip a stitch there, or you can count down from here. So not this one where you've got your stitch marker, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it will be your 6th stitch down there. So I'm working in the back loop only, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So just do a, oops, just join and do a slip stitch into there, and then you are going to be doing treble crochet 3 together. But to start with, we're going to do a chain 3. Now this is going to count as our first treble crochet. Normally we would do a chain 4 for a treble crochet, but because this is a treble crochet 3 together, they won't be quite as tall as they normally would, because you're missing out that very last part. So we're going to do 3 chains, and then we are going to do a treble crochet over this join point here. So this top join, we are doing a treble crochet, but because we're doing it as a treble crochet 3 together, we're only doing the first 2 steps of our treble crochet. So we're going to do yarn over once and twice, leave the last 2 loops on your hook, and then another treble crochet, and you're going to skip a stitch here or count 6 down. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and again into that back loop, pull through and go through your first 2. You're left with 3 loops on the hook, and then pull through all 3, and that's your treble crochet 3 together.